When we think about how to begin our week, the first thing we should focus on is clarity and purpose. Starting your week without a sense of direction is like setting out on a journey without a map. You might end up somewhere, but it won't be exactly where you wanted to go, and you'll waste time figuring out the right path. Having a clear intention when you begin each week not only gives you direction, but also grounds you in the kind of mindset you need to succeed. Imagine waking up on Monday morning without a clear focus. The day begins with a rush of emails, phone calls, and meetings, each pulling your attention in different directions. Before you know it, you're reacting to what's in front of you instead of proactively choosing how you want to move forward. That kind of chaotic start leaves you feeling drained and overwhelmed by Wednesday. And by the end of the week, you're asking yourself where the time went. But starting your week with clarity changes everything. It's like starting a race with your eyes on the finish line. You know exactly where you're going and why it matters. So, how do we achieve this clarity? The answer begins with taking just a few moments to pause and reflect. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle of life, to let the momentum of daily tasks sweep us along. But before you dive into the whirlwind of the week, take a step back and ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish this week? What would make this week meaningful? These questions don't need to be complicated. They just need to be authentic to where you are in life and where you're heading. The first step is to think beyond the immediate short-term tasks. It's easy to get stuck in the to-do list mentality, where everything feels urgent and critical. Yes, the emails, meetings, and deadlines are important, but what really matters in the grand scheme? What do you need to focus on that will move you closer to your bigger vision, your larger goals? Taking the time to identify your core objectives for the week creates a sense of ownership over your time. Rather than letting life dictate how you spend your days, you're setting the agenda. You're determining what matters. This clarity is essential for long-term success because it helps you stay aligned with your larger purpose. Whether that purpose is personal or professional, having clarity helps guide your decisions. It prevents you from drifting aimlessly through the week and instead positions you to act with intention. It's not about having everything figured out. In fact, it's about taking that first small step with the knowledge that you're moving in the right direction. When you have clarity, every action you take feels like a step forward, not just a response to the chaos around you. Clarity also provides a foundation for the other parts of your week. It helps you prioritize. When you know your main objectives, you're able to quickly assess what deserves your attention and what can be put off. This allows you to allocate your time more effectively. Instead of getting bogged down in things that don't contribute to your overall purpose, you can focus your energy on the things that matter most. And when you do this consistently, you develop the ability to be more selective with your time. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes to what truly aligns with your vision. This process also creates momentum. It's easy to feel like you're stuck at the beginning of a long week, especially when things are overwhelming. But when you start with clarity, you create a sense of purpose that builds energy. It's like starting a puzzle by placing the corners and edges first. Once those pieces are in place, the rest starts to fall into place much more easily. Similarly, when you approach your week with clarity, you're more likely to make steady progress. You'll feel more motivated, not because everything is going perfectly, but because you know where you're heading and what it takes to get there. But it's not just about what you need to do, it's about understanding why it matters. This deeper sense of purpose is often what fuels our persistence through the ups and downs. When you take the time to reflect on why your goals matter, you create an emotional connection to your week. This connection is what drives you when things get tough, or when distractions start to creep in. It's easy to stay focused on tasks when you know that they're in service of something bigger than just checking off boxes. That bigger why keeps you grounded. It keeps you moving forward even when you feel like stopping. Now, it's important to note that this process doesn't require a long, drawn-out ritual. It doesn't require a full morning of meditation or hours of planning. In fact, it can be incredibly simple. It's about finding a few moments of quiet, clearing your mind and asking yourself the right questions. If you're someone who feels overwhelmed by the thought of planning your week, I urge you not to overcomplicate it. Sometimes, clarity comes from just being honest with yourself about what you need. It's a few deep breaths, a couple of questions, and then trusting yourself to follow through. You don't need to have it all figured out, but you need to know enough to set a clear path for the week ahead. Another thing to remember is that clarity doesn't mean rigidity. Life is unpredictable, and you will encounter obstacles or changes along the way. But when you start the week with a clear purpose, you're giving yourself a guidepost to return to when things get messy. When you're clear on your goals, you're able to adjust and adapt with more confidence because you know why you're doing what you're doing. Even when things shift unexpectedly, you'll have a stronger sense of control and a clearer perspective on how to respond. This clarity also extends beyond the mental preparation. It influences how you physically show up for your week. When you know your goals, you feel more empowered. You'll be able to engage with your work, your relationships, and your responsibilities with greater focus and intention. You're no longer just going through the motions. You are actively participating in creating the outcomes you want. In closing, starting the week with clarity and purpose isn't about perfection or doing everything right. It's about giving yourself a direction. It's about setting a course and then adjusting as you go. By starting each week with clarity, you're not only setting yourself up for success, you're also making sure that your efforts are aligned with what truly matters to you. So, as you move into this new week, take that moment to reflect on what you want to achieve and why it matters. With that clarity in hand, you'll be amazed at how much more focused, energized, and successful you can be. One of the most powerful ways to set yourself up for success each week is by establishing a routine that works for you. Think about it. A routine is a blueprint for your day, a structure that organizes your energy and focus. When you have a routine, you don't need to waste time thinking about what comes next. You already know. It's like setting yourself on autopilot, allowing you to focus on what truly matters without having to make decisions about every single action. Whether it's something as simple as a morning ritual or a full daily structure, routines provide the framework that keeps you moving in the right direction. The beauty of routines lies in their ability to simplify our lives. We're all busy, and when our schedules get crowded, we can easily fall into the trap of reacting to the demands around us rather than proactively shaping our day. But having a routine means that you're in charge. It's a deliberate design for how your time will be spent, and it empowers you to take control of your day. It's a way of saying, I'm going to start this day in a way that fuels my productivity and well-being. When you set this kind of intention first thing in the morning, you're already giving yourself an edge. One of the most important parts of this routine is starting your day with something that sets a positive tone. For some people, that might be exercise. For others, it might be reading, journaling, or meditating. The key here is that you start your day by doing something that grounds you, something that helps you center yourself. This practice is essential because it provides the mental clarity you need to take on the day's challenges with a calm and focused mindset. Imagine waking up, stretching, and feeling your body wake up with you. Your mind already feels clearer, your energy is flowing, and you're ready to face whatever comes your way. Think about how powerful that feeling is. You've just created a moment of peace in the midst of what can sometimes be a chaotic world. A morning routine, no matter how simple, creates this kind of space. And that space is exactly what you need to approach your week with a sense of control and calm, no matter what challenges arise. Instead of rushing into the day, reacting to the demands of your inbox or the noise of the world, you're starting from a place of intention. That's the power of a routine. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean you have to spend an hour in the morning doing something elaborate. It's about consistency, not complexity. Maybe it's just 15 minutes of quiet reflection, or a short walk to get your blood pumping, or reading a few pages of something that inspires you. It doesn't need to be a grand ritual, it just needs to be something that works for you. The purpose is to anchor your day in something positive so that you can approach whatever comes next with the right mindset. Now, let's talk about how this routine affects the rest of your day. Once you have that strong, intentional start, you're setting yourself up for productivity and success. It's easy to think that starting your day well only impacts the first hour or two. But in reality, the energy you create in the morning will influence your entire day. When you begin your day with purpose, you're better equipped to stay focused and organized. You've already set the tone for how your time will be spent, and this can have a ripple effect throughout your day. Whether you're working on a project, attending meetings, or taking care of responsibilities, the clarity and focus you gained in the morning will guide your actions. In fact, having a routine goes a long way toward eliminating decision fatigue. Every day, we make hundreds of decisions, big ones and small ones. What should I eat for breakfast? Which email should I respond to first? What should I work on today? But when you've established a routine, many of these decisions are already made for you. You know what comes next, and you don't waste energy second-guessing yourself. The more decisions you can eliminate or automate, the more mental space you'll have for what truly matters. You can then devote your energy to tackling your most important task instead of getting bogged down by the small, trivial choices. This is particularly important when it comes to managing stress. We all have moments of overwhelm, and stress can quickly derail our productivity and our mindset. But a routine can act as a stabilizer when everything else feels uncertain. The very act of having something consistent, something that you can rely on every day, can be incredibly grounding. It's like having an anchor in a storm. When you know that you're starting your day with something positive and intentional, it gives you a sense of control even when the world around you feels chaotic. And that sense of control allows you to handle challenges more gracefully. Instead of getting swept up in the chaos, you approach each moment with a clearer mind and a stronger sense of purpose. As you establish a routine, one of the best things you can do is incorporate habits that support both your mind and body. Physical activity is a great example of this. Whether it's a morning run, a yoga session, or even a brief stretching routine, moving your body gets your blood flowing and wakes you up in a way that nothing else can. Physical activity doesn't just help with energy, it also improves mental clarity, reduces stress, and boosts mood. So, even if your routine is simple, including some form of exercise in your day can make a huge difference. Equally important is mental nourishment. Reading, journaling, or meditating are powerful ways to feed your mind and set yourself up for success. These practices provide clarity and focus, helping you to stay grounded and connected to your values. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life, but setting aside time for these activities helps you stay centered and aware of what truly matters. This is essential when you're trying to maintain a balanced and productive life because it ensures that your actions are aligned with your intentions. And remember, routines don't have to be rigid or inflexible. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things won't go as planned. That's okay. The goal is to create a structure that works for you, but can also adapt when life requires it. If you're not able to follow your routine exactly one day, that doesn't mean you failed. The key is to be consistent, not perfect. As long as you're making an effort to stick to your routine, you're already on the right track. Flexibility within your routine allows you to stay productive without feeling like you've completely derailed when something unexpected happens. The beauty of routines is that they become a powerful tool to help you create momentum. When you start the week with a routine that works for you, you immediately feel like you're making progress. Each small action, each intentional step adds up. You begin to see that the way you start your week is also the way you continue it. Your routine provides the momentum you need to carry you through challenges and help you stay on track. So, as you head into your next week, consider how you might start your days with a routine that sets you up for success. It doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. It just has to work for you. When you begin with intention, you create a foundation for the rest of your day. That foundation will help you stay grounded, focused, and ready to tackle whatever comes your way. It's one of the most powerful things you can do to ensure that your week is not just productive, but meaningful. And when you create that momentum, you'll be amazed at how much more you can accomplish. As we enter a new week, one of the most valuable practices we can adopt is the act of reviewing and reflecting. It might sound simple, but it can be incredibly powerful. If we don't take the time to review where we've been, how can we truly understand where we're going? Reflection is not just a luxury or something to do when you have extra time. It's an essential step in ensuring that we're on the right track. The beauty of reviewing and reflecting is that it gives us the opportunity to learn from the past, appreciate what went well, and make adjustments for what didn't. It's about closing the loop on the previous week and setting ourselves up for a stronger, more intentional start to the next one. At the beginning of each week, take a few moments to look back. What went well last week? What were the moments when you felt proud of yourself? When you were fully in flow, when everything seemed to click? Those moments are more than just small victories. They are signs that you were doing something right. By acknowledging and celebrating them, you reinforce the behaviors, habits, and decisions that brought you closer to your goals. It's easy to get caught up in the next thing, always moving forward, always focusing on what's ahead. But if we don't take the time to recognize the wins from the previous week, we risk forgetting the progress we've made. Sometimes we need to stop, look back, and remind ourselves of how far we've come. Reflection also allows us to learn from the things that didn't go quite as planned. We've all been there. Things didn't go the way we expected. Tasks were left unfinished, or we faced obstacles that we didn't anticipate. Instead of letting those moments define the week as a failure, we have an opportunity to look at them through a different lens. What went wrong, and why? What could we have done differently? And most importantly, how can we take those lessons and apply them moving forward? The beauty of this process is that every mistake or misstep becomes a stepping stone toward growth. We're not perfect, and no one expects us to be. But by taking the time to reflect on what didn't work, we gain valuable insights that help us navigate future challenges more effectively. This practice of reflection isn't just about analyzing the negative, though. It's about taking a holistic view of the past week, celebrating the good, learning from the bad, and understanding where improvements can be made. Reflection is the process of becoming aware of our actions, our mindset, and our patterns. It's about seeing things clearly and making decisions based on that understanding. When we do this, we're not merely reacting to the past week. We're proactively shaping the future by learning from our experiences. It's also essential to recognize that reviewing and reflecting isn't a one-time event. It should become a regular habit. The more consistently we reflect, the more we gain clarity about our goals, our progress, and our challenges. This clarity is what helps us make better decisions. Without regular reflection, we can easily get stuck in autopilot mode, just going through the motions without considering whether we're truly heading in the direction we want to go. By reflecting on our actions and choices, we gain the awareness to step off autopilot and take control of our journey. We don't want to get to the end of the week and realize that we've spent all our time on things that weren't truly important. A simple weekly reflection gives us the opportunity to ensure we're spending our time on the right things. And while reviewing the past week is important, it's also a chance to reset and refocus for the week ahead. Sometimes we carry baggage from the previous week into the next, whether it's stress, frustration, or feelings of inadequacy. These emotions can weigh us down and cloud our ability to be productive and focused in the days to come. But when we take the time to reflect, we create space for those feelings to be processed and released. We allow ourselves to let go of what we can't change and focus on what we can control. This makes it easier to enter the new week with a fresh mindset, ready to tackle the challenges ahead with clarity, confidence, and a sense of purpose. One of the most powerful ways to reflect is to ask yourself the right questions. These questions can help you dig deeper into your experiences and gain the insights you need. For example, ask yourself, what was my biggest win last week? How did it feel? What made it possible? By focusing on what went well, you not only celebrate your successes, but also identify the key factors that led to that success. This insight is incredibly valuable because it helps you understand what works for you and how you can replicate those successful behaviors in the future. On the flip side, asking yourself, what didn't go as planned? What lessons can I learn from that? Allows you to process what didn't go right and figure out how to adjust your approach going forward. These questions are a framework for gaining awareness and making thoughtful adjustments. Reflection is not about self-criticism or beating yourself up over mistakes. It's about giving yourself the opportunity to grow. It's about being kind to yourself, acknowledging what you did well and understanding where you can improve. The goal is to become more self-aware so that you can make intentional decisions that will move you closer to your goals. When you approach reflection with this mindset, it becomes a tool for growth rather than something to dread. This practice can also be incredibly helpful in prioritizing your efforts for the coming week. When you're clear on what worked and what didn't, it becomes easier to identify what deserves your attention and what can be set aside. Too often, we get bogged down by distractions or by tasks that don't really align with our bigger goals. But by reflecting on the previous week, you're able to identify what truly matters. This clarity allows you to prioritize your tasks for the upcoming week with confidence. You'll know what's most important and can focus your energy on what will make the biggest impact. It's also important to remember that reflection doesn't have to be a formal, lengthy process. It can be something as simple as taking a few minutes at the end of the day to jot down what went well and what could have been better. Or perhaps it's a quiet moment on Sunday evening to think about your goals for the coming week. The key is consistency. By making reflection a regular part of your routine, it becomes a natural and valuable tool for growth. As you move forward into the next week, embrace the power of reflection. Take time to review, to appreciate what went well, and to learn from the moments that didn't go as planned. This practice not only gives you clarity and direction, but also empowers you to move forward with confidence. By understanding where you've been, you can make better decisions about where you're going. And with each week that passes, you'll become more attuned to your goals, more mindful of your actions, and more purposeful in your progress. Reflecting on your journey allows you to stay grounded, stay focused, and continue to grow. When you start a new week, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks and responsibilities that need to be tackled. Every week, we're faced with a never-ending list of things to do, meetings to attend, emails to respond to, and goals to meet. But one of the most powerful ways to stay focused and make meaningful progress is by taking the time to prioritize. It's not just about getting everything done, It's about getting the right things done. By intentionally identifying what matters most and focusing on those priorities, you're able to work smarter, not harder, and make sure that your energy is directed toward the things that will move you forward, not just fill up your time. Prioritization is one of the most effective tools we have for managing our time and energy. We've all been in situations where we're juggling multiple tasks at once, feeling like we're spinning our wheels but not really making progress. Maybe you've found yourself working on something that doesn't really align with your bigger goals, just because it felt urgent at the moment. Or perhaps you've spent the day responding to emails and handling smaller tasks that don't contribute to your long-term vision. We've all been there. And the truth is, those small tasks can quickly snowball and steal your focus away from what really matters. The key to avoiding this trap is to take a step back, assess the situation, and determine what deserves your attention. Prioritizing your week doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require fancy systems or apps, though those can help. The first step is simply being aware of what's most important. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right things. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of activity, but prioritization helps you cut through the noise and focus on what will make the biggest impact. Think about the tasks that, when completed, will move you closer to your long-term goals. These are the tasks that should rise to the top of your list. Maybe it's a project that's been on the back burner for a while. Or maybe it's a conversation you need to have with a colleague to resolve an ongoing issue. Whatever it is, identify those big rocks, the things that, if done, will make the biggest difference, and place them at the top of your priority list. When you take the time to identify these key tasks, you create clear direction for your week. Instead of feeling pulled in different directions by 1,000 little things, you know exactly where to focus your energy and attention. Now, let's talk about how to determine what your priorities should be. The first thing to consider is what aligns with your larger goals. If your goal is to get ahead in your career, then tasks that contribute to that goal, like working on a big project, networking, or improving your skills, should take precedence. Similarly, if your personal well-being is a priority, tasks like exercise, eating healthy, and taking time for self-care should be at the top of your list. Prioritizing isn't about doing the most urgent things. It's about doing the things that align with your broader vision and will have the greatest long-term impact. Another important aspect of prioritization is learning to say no. This can be one of the hardest parts of prioritizing, especially if you're someone who likes to be helpful or fears missing out on opportunities. But the reality is, you can't do everything. When you try to please everyone and take on every request, you end up spreading yourself too thin. The more you say yes to things that aren't truly aligned with your priorities, the less time and energy you have for the things that really matter. So part of effective prioritization is being comfortable with saying no. It's not always easy, but it's essential for maintaining focus and ensuring that you're giving your attention to the right tasks. Saying no doesn't mean being selfish or uncooperative. It means protecting your time and energy for the things that will help you achieve your goals. In addition to prioritizing tasks that align with your goals, another important step is to break your bigger goals into smaller, more manageable steps. Big projects or long-term goals can often feel overwhelming, but when you break them down into smaller, actionable tasks, they become much more achievable. When you start your week, identify the specific steps that need to be taken to move that larger project forward. Whether it's writing an outline for a presentation, researching a topic, or reaching out to collaborators, breaking things down helps you make steady progress. Small wins lead to bigger victories. And when you take it one step at a time, the larger goal feels much more manageable. One of the most common mistakes we make when prioritizing is trying to do everything at once. We think that if we focus on everything, we'll accomplish more. But the truth is, multitasking often results in less productivity, not more. When we split our attention across multiple tasks, we dilute our focus and end up doing each task less effectively. Instead, choose one or two things to focus on and give them your full attention. This deep focus is where the real progress happens. It's much more effective to give 100% of your energy to one priority than to divide it across several smaller, less important tasks. There's also something incredibly powerful about being intentional with your time. When you have a clear sense of your priorities, you can schedule your time accordingly. This means setting aside blocks of time to focus on the most important tasks and guarding that time against distractions. This is where the importance of saying no becomes even more critical. When you've identified your top priorities, you need to protect that time and ensure that you're not derailed by other less important tasks. This kind of intentionality allows you to make real progress on the things that matter. And here's the thing, your priorities will shift and evolve over time. What's important one week may not be as crucial the next, and that's okay. The key is to regularly check in with yourself and reassess what truly matters. At the start of each week, take a few moments to reflect on what you need to focus on and what can wait. Reassessing your priorities keeps you aligned with your goals and ensures that you're always working on the things that will move you forward. Prioritization is also a great tool for managing stress and avoiding burnout. When you try to do everything, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But when you focus on the key tasks that truly matter, you lighten the load. It's about quality, not quantity. When you get clear on your priorities, you stop wasting time and energy on things that don't align with your goals. This clarity not only improves your productivity, but also reduces stress, because you're no longer fighting a constant battle against an ever-growing to-do list. You know what matters, and you can pour your energy into those areas. So as you begin each week, take a moment to pause and identify what truly matters. Get clear on your priorities, and make sure that your time and energy are aligned with your larger goals. By doing so, you'll create a sense of focus and direction that will help you stay productive, reduce stress, and make meaningful progress toward the things that matter most. When you prioritize effectively, you not only make your week more manageable, you also make it more purposeful. And that's the kind of week we all deserve. As you approach each new week, it's crucial to not only focus on the tasks, priorities, and routines, but also to remember the power of setting clear intentions. Intentions are the driving force behind everything we do, and they serve as a guide, keeping us grounded and focused on what really matters. Without intention, we can easily get lost in the busyness of our lives, caught up in the distractions and the noise that come with it. But when we set clear, purposeful intentions, we align ourselves with a sense of direction and purpose that can make all the difference in how our week unfolds. Setting an intention is like planting a seed. It's a small, conscious decision to focus on something specific, whether it's a goal, an attitude, or a value that will guide your actions throughout the week. The beauty of setting intentions is that they are rooted in your values and long-term vision. It's not about checking off a to-do list or simply getting through the day. It's about bringing your actions into alignment with what's truly important to you. When you start your week with intention, you give yourself a sense of purpose, a reminder of what matters most, and a clear path for how you want to show up in the world. At the start of each week, take a moment to reflect on what you want to create. What is it that you want to focus on, learn, or accomplish? Maybe it's a professional milestone, like finishing a project or having a difficult conversation with a colleague. Or perhaps it's a personal goal, such as making time for self-care or cultivating more patience in your relationships. Whatever it is, setting an intention provides clarity on what you are working toward. Without an intention, you may find yourself meandering through the week, reacting to what comes your way instead of actively shaping your experiences. But when you set your intention, you're taking control of your time and energy, and you're putting yourself in the driver's seat of your own life. It's important to recognize that intentions are not about achieving perfection. In fact, setting an intention can be more about the process than the outcome. It's not about getting everything done flawlessly. It's about being intentional with your energy and presence. For example, your intention might be to show up with more patience this week, even if things don't always go your way. It's about making a conscious choice to be present and mindful in your interactions, rather than reacting impulsively or getting lost in the rush of daily demands. Setting an intention means that you're taking responsibility for the way you engage with the world around you. One of the most powerful aspects of intention is its ability to shift your mindset when you set an intention for your week. It's like telling yourself, this is what matters, and this is how I'm going to approach my time. Setting an intention brings focus to your thoughts, helping you filter out distractions and stay grounded in what's important. It's easy to get distracted by the constant flow of emails, meetings, and tasks that come our way. But when you have a clear intention, you're able to sift through all the noise and focus on what aligns with your goal. That focus becomes the lens through which you view your entire week. Think about how powerful it is to have that kind of clarity. When your actions are aligned with your intentions, everything feels more purposeful. Each task, no matter how small, carries more weight because it's contributing to something greater. Whether it's making a phone call, completing a report, or spending time with loved ones, your intention serves as a reminder of why you're doing it. This sense of purpose fuels motivation, especially when the inevitable obstacles arise. And obstacles will arise. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and the road to success is rarely a straight line. But when you're clear about your intention, setbacks don't feel as defeating. Instead of losing momentum, you find ways to adapt and keep moving forward because you have a clear sense of what you're working toward. Setting an intention also helps you avoid the trap of multitasking. Multitasking can often feel like the answer to getting everything done, but research has shown that juggling multiple tasks at once usually leads to decreased productivity. When you try to focus on too many things at once, your attention is divided and the quality of your work suffers. But when you set a single intention for the week, you can direct your full attention toward that one thing, ensuring that your energy is spent in the most effective and impactful way. Rather than trying to do it all, you focus on the one thing that matters most at the moment. This kind of focused attention doesn't just increase productivity. It also brings a greater sense of fulfillment because you know you're making progress on something that truly matters. But here's the thing. Intentions can be flexible. Just as priorities shift, your intention may evolve over time. And that's okay. Setting an intention isn't about rigidly adhering to one idea. It's about having a guiding principle that informs your actions and decisions. Maybe halfway through the week, you realize that what you intended to focus on no longer aligns with your needs or circumstances. That's a good thing. It shows that you're aware of what's going on in your life, and you're willing to adapt when needed. The goal is not to be inflexible, but to be intentional. It's about being mindful of how you spend your time and ensuring that you're still aligned with your values and larger goals, even if those need to shift. Another powerful aspect of intention is the impact it has on your mindset. When you begin your week with intention, you start with a mindset of purpose, not just tasks. Think about the difference between entering a new week, feeling like you're just checking things off a list, and entering it with a sense of purpose, knowing that your actions are aligned with your deeper values. That shift in mindset makes all the difference. It allows you to stay grounded when things get hectic, and it helps you keep a positive outlook even when the unexpected arises. It's about choosing how you want to show up, no matter what challenges or surprises the week throws at you. And let's not forget the importance of being kind to yourself as you pursue your intentions. Setting intentions is not about creating more pressure or striving for perfection. It's about giving yourself permission to show up with purpose, even on days when things don't go as planned. It's about progress, not perfection. There will be days when your intention may take a back seat due to unforeseen circumstances or external pressures, and that's okay. What matters is that you don't abandon your intention entirely. You simply realign and keep moving forward. Remember, intentions are not about rigidly sticking to a path, but rather about having a guiding compass that helps you navigate through the week with clarity and purpose. So, as you approach the coming week, think about what you want to bring into it. What intention will you set for yourself? What kind of energy do you want to put into your work, your relationships, or your personal growth? When you set a clear intention, you're not just filling your week with tasks. You're filling it with meaning, with purpose, and with the kind of focus that moves you closer to the life you want to create. And when you do that, your week becomes more than just a collection of days. It becomes a meaningful chapter in your ongoing journey.